Sometimes we think strength is about endurance. How long we can hold on, how much pain we can take, how far we can stretch ourselves to keep something alive. But in the eyes of Allah, true strength often looks like surrender. It's in those moments where we know deep down, this situation, this relationship, this habit, it's not pleasing to Him, yet we still cling to it. That's when walking away becomes one of the hardest yet most honorable acts of submission a believer can do. Society will tell you quitting is weakness, but faith tells you quitting what displeases Allah is courage. This world will never celebrate your decision to walk away for Allah. They'll say you gave up too early, you didn't try hard enough, you turned your back. But only you and your Lord know the struggle behind your decision. Only He knows the nights you cried, the times you begged for clarity, the battles that raged inside your soul. And when the time comes, when Allah places it firmly in your heart that it's time to walk, you'll know. Because peace begins to replace confusion. Because your heart stops racing when you think about letting go. Because the heaviness that once felt like love now feels like a burden. Sometimes, Allah allows the pain to stay just long enough to teach us where we should never return. He lets us taste restlessness in the places we no longer belong. He allows hearts to drift, relationships to shift, doors to close. Not to punish us, but to free us, to remind us that peace is not found in people, status, or comfort zones. It's found in choosing Him, especially when it's hard, especially when no one understands, especially when everything in you is screaming to stay, but your soul quietly whispers, I need to leave for the sake of my Lord. That is strength in its purest form. You see, walking away is not about proving anything to the world. It's about proving to your own heart that Allah comes first, that your loyalty is not to your feelings, but to your faith, that even if what you walk away from looks beautiful, it can't compare to the beauty of Allah's pleasure. And when you walk away sincerely for Him, something miraculous happens. He replaces the heaviness with light. He fills the void with purpose. He brings people into your life that guide you closer to Him. He gives you tranquility that no relationship or success ever could. That is the mercy of your Lord. It takes immense courage to say, Ya Allah, I don't see what's ahead, but I trust you enough to let go. It takes a heart rooted in Iman to say, even if it hurts, even if I'm afraid, I know that nothing I leave for you is ever truly lost. Allah never asks us to leave something without preparing something better in return. But He wants to see if we trust Him enough to take that first step, to choose Him over our own desires, to sacrifice comfort for conviction. That's not weakness. That's the highest form of strength a believer can ever show. The heart is delicate. It wasn't made to carry the weight of this world. It wasn't created to chase after what constantly slips away. It was designed for one purpose, to know, to remember, and to love Allah. But distractions come. They come quietly, often dressed in beauty. They come through friendships that feel comforting but pull us into gossip and heedlessness. They come through desires that whisper to us that obedience can wait. They come through relationships that begin innocently but end up costing us our peace. And the more we entertain these distractions, the more distant we feel from the one who gave us life. When the heart gets too full of the dunya, there's no room left for Allah. And suddenly, the things we used to enjoy, Quran, Salah, Dhikr, feel heavy. We tell ourselves we're too tired, too busy, too drained. But it's not time we're lacking. It's clarity. We've allowed our lives to be filled with distractions that slowly poison our souls. Every step we take toward haram is a step away from the sweetness of faith. The danger lies not just in the act of disobedience, but in how it hardens the heart. It clouds the vision. It numbs the conscience. And before we realize it, we're more connected to people than we are to our Lord. But there's hope. There's always a way back. It begins with honesty, with looking in the mirror and asking, what is standing between me and Allah? Is it a habit? A person? A secret sin? A lifestyle I know is wrong but I'm too scared to change? Identifying the distraction is the first step, and then comes the hard part, letting go. Not for the sake of image or pressure, but purely for the sake of Allah. To say, Ya Allah, this thing is beloved to me, but you are more beloved. To walk away not because you no longer care, but because you care about your akhirat more. When you leave something for Allah, your heart doesn't become empty. It becomes purified. The pain of separation is real, but so is the peace that follows. Slowly, your salah feels sweeter. your nights become softer, your heart becomes lighter. That's what happens when distractions are replaced with divine connection. You begin to live, not just exist. You begin to hear your soul again. The truth is, what distracts you from Allah is never worth the cost. Because nothing and no one can love you like He does. No one can forgive you like He can. No one can provide like He provides. When you remove the barriers between you and Him, you begin to taste the sweetness of Iman. A sweetness that no distraction can ever match. But it starts with courage. It starts with a step. And that step begins with a decision to leave behind what dims your light and return to the one who created it. There are moments in life when you feel like you're working so hard, moving so much, pushing forward with everything you've got, but something always feels off. The results don't match the effort. The blessings seem blocked. You pray, but the peace doesn't come. You earn, but the money disappears. You smile, but inside, your heart is restless. And then you look around and realize there's something in your life that's displeasing to Allah, and you're holding on to it. That one thing might be stopping the barakah from flowing into every other area. It might be that one person, that one habit, that one lifestyle choice, or that one environment. And deep inside, you already know. You know it's not good for you, but it's comfortable. You know it dims your faith, but it brings worldly ease. You know Allah wouldn't be pleased, but it feels too hard to leave. And yet barakah doesn't live in disobedience. It doesn't grow in places where Allah is ignored. Barakah is light. It is tranquility. It is multiplication by the grace of the unseen. It is the hand of Allah in your affairs, turning the smallest efforts into the biggest rewards. But barakah only lands where hearts are clean, intentions are sincere, and obedience is prioritized. When you choose Allah over your comfort, when you walk away from something haram or doubtful, you're not just letting go. You're making space. You're making space for peace, for mercy, for unexpected rizq, for powerful du'as to be answered. Think of it like a room. If it's filled with clutter, there's no space to bring in anything new. You can't ask Allah to bless your home, your income, your relationships, while knowingly holding onto something He has asked you to leave. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest with yourself and willing to make a change. That act of walking away, no matter how small, is a declaration that Allah's pleasure is more important than your temporary comfort. And He responds, He replaces, He rewards. Many people are afraid to walk away because they fear the void it will leave. They fear loneliness. They fear financial loss. They fear being misunderstood. But what they don't realize is that barakah fills the spaces that sacrifice creates. The day you choose to walk away from a source of income because it involves haram, you will feel the fear at first. But then Allah will place barakah in your sustenance that you never imagined. The day you leave a relationship that distances you from Allah, your heart might ache, but soon you'll feel a serenity that no companionship ever gave you. The day you stop compromising your faith for the sake of fitting in, you will feel like a stranger, but Allah will send angels to comfort your heart. The Prophet Z said, "You will never leave something for the sake of Allah except that He will replace it with something better." That promise is true. But the better doesn't always come in the way we expect. It might not be more money. It might be more contentment. It might not be new people. It might be deeper self-worth. It might not be worldly gain. It might be a nearness to Allah that nothing else could bring. That's barakah. That's the divine response to your trust. But it begins when you open your hand, release what you know is wrong, and say, "For via Allah, I choose you." That one choice to walk away, when done purely for His sake, can be the turning point of your entire life. You may not see it immediately, but slowly you'll notice the shift. Your mind becomes clearer. Your heart feels lighter. Your time becomes more productive. Your sleep becomes deeper. Your tears feel healing. That is what it means to make space for barakah. That is the unseen gift of obedience. And it all starts when you're willing to walk away. In this world, we're taught to follow our hearts, to do what feels right, to chase happiness at any cost. But what they don't tell you is that the heart, if not purified and guided by faith, can lead you straight into ruin. Desires are powerful. They pull, they persuade, they justify. And before you realize it, you find yourself deep in something that feels good to your body, but quietly suffocates your soul. It could be a relationship that looks perfect on the outside but pulls you away from Salah. It could be a career that fills your bank account but empties your spiritual bank. It could be a habit that soothes your stress but pollutes your soul. Just because something gives you a temporary high doesn't mean it's good for your akira. In fact, some of the most dangerous traps are the ones that feel the most pleasurable. Shaitan doesn't come to believers with horror and evil. He comes with ease, with beauty, with excuses. He says, it's not that bad. He whispers, you'll repent later. He convinces you that it's love when it's really a test. And if you're not careful, you'll start labeling sins as blessings. You'll start calling disobedience freedom. That's when the heart begins to harden. That's when the soul stops responding. But Allah in His mercy gives signs. He puts discomfort in your heart. He makes the haram feel heavy. He allows the thing you once enjoyed to start draining you. That's not random. That's divine mercy. That's your Lord calling you back. He's saying, this thing may please your nafs, but it's stealing your light. And the longer you ignore it, the louder the consequences become. Anxiety increases. Guilt creeps in. Relationships break down. That's the fitra shaking, begging to return to the one who created it. Walking away from something that feels good but displeases Allah is not easy. It will break your heart. It will challenge your willpower. It will leave you crying. But it will also purify you. It will humble you. It will bring you closer to Allah than you've ever been. And in that closeness, you'll find something better than what you left behind. You'll find peace that doesn't need music to calm you. You'll find clarity that doesn't require validation. You'll find love that doesn't fade with time. That's what happens when you walk away. Not for fear, not for image, but purely for Allah. Your heart might not understand it today. Your emotions might resist it. But your soul knows the truth. Deep down, you know what is holding you back. You know what's stopping you from rising in your faith. You know what's delaying your du'as. And you also know what needs to be left behind. Choosing your akira over your desires is one of the most powerful acts of tawbah. It's the act of saying, Fi Allah, I want you more than I want this dunya. That decision, no matter how painful, is a decision that saves hearts. Tawakkul isn't just a word we repeat when we're afraid. It's a deep, personal act of trust in the one who sees what we don't. It's the silent strength of a believer who walks away from something they deeply wanted, not because it was easy, not because it made sense to them, but because they believe that Allah knows best. True tawakkul begins when you no longer rely on the logic of your emotions, but lean on the wisdom of your Creator. There are times in life when everything looks right on the outside, a relationship that's full of smiles, a career that's financially rewarding, an opportunity that seems to fulfill all your dreams. And yet, deep inside, there's a storm. Something feels off. You try to ignore it. You keep moving forward. You force yourself to be grateful for it. But the disquiet in your heart is a sign. Allah doesn't place unease in your soul for no reason. Sometimes that discomfort is the mercy before the storm. It's His way of gently saying, my servant, this is not for you. I have something better. And yet letting go is never easy. We are human. We get attached. We dream. We build hopes around things, people, situations. But Allah is Al-Alim, the all-knowing. He sees the hidden. He knows the conversations we never heard. He sees the future we cannot. So when He pulls something away from you, or places the weight in your heart to walk away from it yourself, that's not a punishment, that's protection. That's divine intervention masked as heartbreak. Tawakkul is not passive. It doesn't mean you just sit and wait. It means you act, you move, and when it's time to walk away, you do so with faith, not fear. You say to yourself, I may not see what's ahead, but I trust the one who does. Think of Prophet Ibrahim a.s. when he was told to leave his family in the middle of a barren desert. There were no signs of life, no promise of safety, no worldly logic behind it. But he walked away. He left them there with full trust in Allah, and from that trust came the legacy of Zamzam. From that surrender came the foundation of Hajj. Think of Musa a.s. standing before the Red Sea, with Pharaoh's army closing in behind. People panicked. The path ahead was blocked. The only option seemed to be destruction. But he didn't turn back. He didn't beg for another way. He trusted. And in that trust, Allah split the sea. These weren't just miracles for the past. They were timeless reminders that when you walk away with sincere tawakkul, Allah makes a way. Even today in your own struggles, this principle still applies. Maybe you're in a job that pays well but robs you of your ability to pray. Maybe you're in a relationship that gives you comfort but pulls you away from your values. Maybe you're stuck in a lifestyle that looks successful but leaves your soul dry. And now Allah is giving you signs, whispers of discomfort, moments of reflection, unanswered du'as that seem to push you toward change. And the question becomes, do you trust Him enough to let go? It might feel like loss, but every sacrifice made for Allah is in fact a deposit towards something greater. You don't always get to see it immediately. Sometimes the replacement takes time. Sometimes it's not what you expected. But it's always better, because Allah doesn't just give you what you want. He gives you what you need. And often, what you truly need only becomes clear once you've made the sacrifice. That's why walking away, when done for Allah, becomes an act of tawakkul. It's not about having all the answers. It's about walking with faith in a direction that feels uncertain, only because you trust the one who commanded it. And in that walk, you find clarity. You find strength you didn't know you had. You find a connection with Allah that the comfort zone could never give you. You find the burden you feared has been lifted, and the door you thought was closing is actually opening into something far greater. All because you trusted. All because you walked away not with regret, but with conviction. That's the power of tawakkul. Sometimes the most powerful statement of faith isn't found in loud declarations or grand gestures. It's found in quiet decisions. In the silence of your heart when you say, "Via Allah, I want you more than I want this," that's the real victory. Walking away for the sake of Allah is not about defeat. It's about liberation. It's about freeing your heart from what drains your soul and turning it toward what nourishes it. Life will present countless tests, some wrapped in comfort, others in beauty, some disguised as love, some masked as opportunity. But every test is asking you one question: will you choose Allah even when it's hard? That choice defines you. That choice writes your story. That choice is what angels record when no one else is watching. You might cry when you walk away, you might tremble, you might feel like a part of you is being torn. But know this, Allah sees it all, every tear, every breath, every step you take for Him. And He never lets it go to waste. What you sacrifice for Him, He multiplies. What you let go for Him, He replaces with better. What you surrender, He purifies. And in the end, you don't just walk away, you walk towards Him, toward peace, toward clarity. This world is temporary. The people, the wealth, the status, they all fade. But the reward of one sincere sacrifice, one moment of walking away for the sake of Allah, echoes into eternity. So don't fear what you lose. Fear losing the one who gives all. Because when you have Him, you've lost nothing. And when you lose Him, you've lost everything.